As time changes, so do social standards. I think that it's okay for them to be modified now because they don't hold up.
God drowned everybody. Men, women, children. Can you imagine you're a woman and you have a child and this child is 3 or 4 years old and they're drowning and you can't do anything because it's too deep. You're going to die with your child. What do? That's a horrible way to die. Horrible thing to know that you're going to die that way. And you can't tell me that all these people were somehow evil. They all committed murder and theft. That's bull. It's just nonsense. The Bible is so full of horrible things God has done to innocent people. Oh, there's a bear that God sent down to slew some children because he picked on one of his prophets. So he killed the children. What kind of disgusting God? That's all I got to say.
I definitely have seen and heard many of my friends question a lot of the moral thoughts in the Old Testament of God killing different people groups and people having that be a stumbling block for them in their personal faith, and they may be questioning the Bible's authority as God's written word. For me, I view God as a God who is loving, powerful, but furthermore I see him as a just God, a God that we fully can't comprehend, but one that we don't fully need to comprehend. We are just needing to be living a life that walks in faith and obedience to him in the areas that we can.
I mean, I was of the mindset that, if God exists, God knows better than I do, and therefore I wanted to conform my way of thinking to what I thought God thought. But as far, when I was looking at the Bible critically, there were definitely some issues for me, particularly a lot of the actions attributed to God in the Old Testament, such as the flood, the killing of the firstborn in Egypt, pronouncements on slavery, different things like that. Yeah, as far as, I don't know, I guess different issues even pertaining to LGBTQ, those were kind of an issue for me as well. But obviously those weren't good reasons to not believe that God exists or anything like that. So I would definitely view those as a separate issue pertaining to the or that don't pertain to the existence of God.
He has perfect judgment. He will tell us things and he shows us some of the reasons why, and other times we don't completely understand, but I know that all of the things that he has revealed to himself in, I have been able to see why they make sense. It's not even necessarily my job to go in and say, okay, I need to completely understand why God is telling me this. God also will just bring about understanding when it's time. If we just start saying, well, I think that God is right about this, but not about this, you can't say that God is true and right and only okay and true and right about a few things. It's kind of everything or nothing. The piece of the everything that I understand makes sense to me. Rejecting the parts that I understand and the parts that I don't understand makes a lot less sense to me. And I see that even in this idea that the world is not complete and we're waiting for restoration. That if that was not true, why would we feel this hurt when someone dies? Why are we so uncomfortable with that if that's just life? And why do we have existential thoughts and crises if there isn't something that we're longing for and something else out there? And I've found a home and a hope in the future through trusting what God says.
As time changes, so do the rules and regulations, or so do social standards. I think that the morals and the rules that were established back then worked back then. I think that it's okay for them to be modified now because they don't hold up. Because people see this book and they see it as absolute truth, they want to stick to it and apply the same rules to 2019, when in actuality, I personally think that they don't hold up. Because again, we've completely progressed as a society. I mean, but I will say there are things that I do agree with that have upheld. I mean, essentially just the whole idea of just, like, again, you look at the 10 Commandments, like, thou shalt not kill. Cool. I'm down with that. Like, that's not, killing is not good. So that's a rule. I mean, that's a basic foundational rule, is like the idea of respecting others, the whole golden rule, treat others how you would want to be treated. I think that upholds, absolutely. But some of this other stuff, like as far as like genders and work and this and that and relationships, same-sex marriages and relationships, I'm just like, nah, like I don't think that stuff holds up. But basic foundational concepts like not killing or just treating others with respect, I think definitely do hold up.
Hey, whoa.
Are you living good? Is your love right?
This is something that you might find strange from Christian, but I will come across a time where I will disagree with God. Ultimately, who am I to question the one who has created the universe, who has created everything? From what I've read in the New Testament, which is a doctrine that I believe to be followed, that is the Christian doctrine, that is the new covenant. Yeah, I'm solid with that. That's all about not so much law as much just pursuing Christ and pursuing sanctification. And I do believe that that a loving God would get us the accurate message coming from that. It's difficult since English is limited in its conceptualization of things compared to what Hebrew and Greek have had. And then Hebrew, Aramaic, I think it was what the Old Testament was like officially. It has concepts that are beyond our knowledge of like past, present, future tense. I'm going to go down another rabbit hole because I know some people will try to think like, oh, so you believe homosexuality is a sin. I don't believe it's a sin to have that attraction, and that's what I've been educated in, what I've been discipled in since becoming a Christian. It's more or less acting upon that, and it's the perpetual sin that is what's condemning. So you have that attraction, and it's not condemning you. It's if you choose to put your identity in that rather than putting your identity in the one who created you.
Fucking fast year flew by. I feel Indian, but only part-time. That's a pretty fucking fast year flew by. I feel Indian, but only part-time. Only part-time.
Lexi is trying to sleep, so don't make a peep. Gonna get back it straight. Gonna be okay. Lexi is trying to sleep, so don't make a peep. Gonna get back it straight. Gonna beat it to death.